So today I'm going to talk about how to go from zero to $100,000 in revenue in your first 120 days in business. Yes, it is possible. And this is actually one episode in a three-part series on the three phases of scaling. This episode is going to be 0 to 100. The next one's going to be 100 to 250 in revenue. And the third one is going to be $250,000 in revenue all the way up to seven figures. And so today is probably going to be one of my favorite episodes because, hey, everybody, every pro was once an amateur, right? There was a time where I was meeting with that first seller. I was shaking in my boots. I didn't have the faith. I didn't know what I was doing, and I made it happen. Now I'm going to teach you how to do it so much faster, so much more efficient, so much smarter. I don't care your background. If you know anything about real estate, if you're a total newbie, you don't have any experience, you don't know how to talk to sellers, if you're barely scratching together some money to do your upcoming marketing, which I'm going to talk about here, you can do this. You can do this. So before I jump into today's show, I'm going to actually play an awesome piece of good news that we got from one of our Novation Bootcamp students. So this is going to blow your mind. So let's go ahead and listen to this.
Hey Todd, Novation Rhino here. Jacob, just want to give you some good news today. I'm actually sending out a counter today for one of my Novation deals. It was a dead deal. I could only offer the seller $250K cash as a wholesale deal, but kept the deal alive by using the Novation method. We got the property under contract for $300 and we sold it on the open market for $335. Let's go.
So, Jacob, man, thank you so much for the enthusiasm as I was prepping for the show today. They put a huge smile on my face, and I know that many people listening to this are loving your enthusiasm. And man, just way to go. I'm not 100% sure what the full profit of that is going to be, but it sounds like a 5-figure paycheck. So awesome job, Jacob. Congratulations. Took a dead deal and turned it into revenue. By the way, if you are brand new listening to this, or maybe you've ever wondered what to say to a seller, go to my website, nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script, and download a copy of the Motivated Seller Script. This is the very same script that I've used to lock up over 1,400 deals, me and my team. So go ahead and download a copy of that script, and it's totally free, and go ahead and lock up some deals. So today we're going to talk about going from $0 to $100,000. And I remember when I first got started, again, I didn't know what to say to a seller. I didn't know who to target, how to target them. And, all I knew was that I wanted to make a big fat paycheck and quit my job. And I am going to tell you that that is certainly within your reach. I know this works, and I have faith in you. So that being said, number one, you got to get clear on your goal, right? You want to generate $100,000 in 120 days. Now, you can do it quicker, but I personally think that 120 days is a very realistic timeline, a little shy of 4 months. And so if you do what I'm telling you to do, you will crush it, okay? Most people are going to get excited about this podcast, and they're going to think, yeah, that sounds nice, but this won't apply to me. But this isn't you, okay? You know how to execute. So number one, you got to get clear on your goal, and that is $100,000 in the next 120 days. Now, the next thing that I would do is get really, really, really good at talking to sellers. Now, I give away a lot of free information on this podcast on how to talk to sellers and the different communication techniques. If you want to piece that all together and listen to it and get really, really good at sellers, listen to the podcast. You can go through. If you want an accelerated version of that, if you want to be more confident with talking with sellers, if you want to learn how to compress the timelines and get the deals faster, if you also want to do bigger deals, which is going to put more money in your pocket, then go ahead and invest in the No Limit Selling System. It's super cheap. It's going to give you what you need to talk to sellers with a lot of confidence The price is ridiculously low. So go to NoLimitSalesSystem.com, No Limit Sales System, to check that out. Okay. If you don't purchase it, again, you can listen to the podcast, a ton of free stuff on here, again, on talking to sellers. Now that you know who you're going to target and how to talk to sellers, now comes the next most important thing. And that is, we need to generate leads. This business is about three things. Number one, generating leads. Number two, converting those leads, right? I talked about that in number two. That's what the No Limit Selling System is for. And three, selling those deals for top dollar. So now that you pick one marketing channel out there, there's direct mail, there's internet leads, there's cold calling, there's texting. I want you to pick one of those and stick to it. One of my favorite marketing channels to lock up deals, by the way, is online leads. If you go to novationleads.com, by the way, these work for traditional wholesale deals. These also work for Novation deals. Okay, these basically are online leads who submit a web form that says, hey, I'm interested in selling my house. Okay, some of them want to sell fast, some of them don't. Some of them are motivated, some of them are not. But you're going to pay anywhere between $75 to a couple $100 a lead for this. If you choose that, again, novationleads.com, go ahead and check that out. It's the easiest way if you have more money than time. If you don't have a lot of money, then you could cold call, right? And be proactive and get people on the phone. I really don't care which one you use. I've used direct mail. I've used online leads. I've used cold calling or partnering with those who cold call. I've used texting. I've used it all, but pick one marketing channel. Again, the one that you choose may be determined if you have more time than money. If you just have time, you're totally broke. Cold call, right? Cold call. Listen to my friend Brent Daniels, who is a master at teaching others how to cold call if that's what you want to do. Now, remember I talked about this. I'm going to really simplify this. Your goal is to make $100,000 in the first 120 days. So step one is to generate leads, or pick the marketing channels. To make $100,000, in my experience, you need to generate 100 leads. That's the minimum, 100 leads. And 100 leads, what you need is a profit of $35,000 per deal. Now, if you want to work a lot harder and run around like a chicken with your head cut off and make less profit and have to do more deals to make the same amount of money, go right ahead. I don't recommend it. Bigger deals are easier. The sellers are easier to close. Your buyers are going to be happy because you have a deal with more meat on it, and you're going to do less work. Okay, and so I would focus on $35,000 a deal, even if it's your first deal. Now you may think, Todd, I just want to get a deal underneath my belt. Just gain some confidence. It is just as easy to do a big deal as it is a small deal. So train yourself right. $35,000 on the first deal. That's what I want you to shoot for. If you generate 100 leads, here's how this is going to look. Okay, is you will probably generate your first deal within the 90-day period. Your month 30, you're not going to have day 30, you're not going to have a little bit of a momentum. Day 60, you're going to have a lot of leads that you are working on, and these leads are matriculating, and all of a sudden, day 90, that first giant deal is going to hit $35,000. That fourth month, you will probably do 2 deals, right? One in the beginning of the fourth month, one towards the middle of the fourth month, because now you've built momentum. You've generated leads. Let's talk about how that will work. Again, those 100 leads, out of the people who call you or you call them, the chances of you finding a laydown, someone who's got a problem right now, that may happen, but I don't like to count on it. So we're going to pretend like that one lead that you come up with, maybe your third week, you sign a contract, maybe the fourth week, you sell it, between the 6th and 8th week, right? But over that period of time, those other 2 deals, and again, this is a hypothetical scenario, but I've seen it happen over and over and over and over and over again. Someone who you talk to the first month, they now start to develop a problem. You've built some trust with them. There's some rapport. And so now all of a sudden something happens in their life where they're like, boom, I've got to do business, and you are there. So that's the way the cycle is going to work. Okay, now I have found that when you generate 100 leads, typically you can get about one deal out of that 100 in the first 2 or 3 months. Over time, as you follow up, right? Month 3, month 4, maybe month 5. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. It's going to take you 5 or 6 months. You will squeeze 1 or 2 more deals out of that 100 leads because the people situation's changed. So you keep squeezing, okay, that orange. Squeeze the orange deal 1, squeeze it some more, get the second one, squeeze it a little more, and now you've got your third deal, and now you've got 100K in your pocket. I'm going to get a little more granular on how you're going to do this. By the way, when you're trying to make your first 100K, I don't want you to worry about hiring. I don't want you to worry about scaling to 7 figures, building a team. Just get on the phone and generate some leads, follow up, close people, and sell those properties for top dollar. That's how you generate 100K in 120 days. Next is now you're clear. Now you understand how this is going to work. Okay, 3 deals of $35,000. You want to get that first deal under contract, right? You're going to find a motivated seller. You're going to have to negotiate a deep spread. By the way, I'm going to recommend that you actually look for a broker up front. A good broker is someone who can help you list your deals on the MLS. They will tell you what a deal will sell for, but they will also be able to tell you kind of where you have to be, right, when you lock up a deal, because they're going to tell you what it's going to sell for. So if you have a good broker who you can build a relationship with, who knows the area well, who sells properties, who understands cash buyers. I've talked a lot about this on my Novation podcasts. They can be an ally that you do not have to pay up front. So now you're clear on kind of the spread you have to create, what you could buy a property for and sell it for. Once you get that deal under contract and you negotiated hard for it, you met with a motivated seller, you agreed on a purchase price, now it's time to sell that deal. I recommend you sell your deals on the MLS with a real estate broker. Put it on the market, get a lot of buyers who are fighting over it. Now, you can either sell this property to a cash buyer or you can sell it on a Novation. I've done many podcasts on how to sell deals on Novations. Feel free to listen to those. But either sell to a cash buyer or a retail buyer with little to no money out of pocket. And then repeat the process. If you get into a bad deal, which you may find you made a mistake, right? You may find that you didn't go low enough because of your inexperience. Go ahead, go back to the seller and renegotiate your deal so that you could make your $35,000. You're offering value to the seller. Go ahead and negotiate like you need to. By the way, my recommendation is to always try to negotiate your deals right up front. Never get into a deal with the intent to renegotiate later. But if you need to renegotiate, go ahead and do that. My last point is don't worry about hiring or scaling or automation, the latest tools. Look, just generate 100 leads, convert that first one into a contract within the first 2 or 3 months, squeeze out a second and third deal for $35,000 each, and now you got your first $100,000 in 120 days. I'll summarize here. Number 1, get clear. Number 2, invest in the No Limit Selling System. It's super cheap, nolimitsalesystem.com. If you don't want to buy it, listen to the podcast. I plead with you. Either way, get educated on talking to sellers. Pick one marketing channel. If you've got more money than time, do like direct mail or online leads like I talked about. If you are broke, hey, cold call. Number 4, generate your first 100 leads. You're going to be able to squeeze one deal out of that in the first 2 or 3 months. Squeeze deals 2 and 3 for $35,000 each in month 3 and 4. Keep squeezing those that orange. Number 5, get clear on that 35K. Okay, don't accept anything less in your mind. Get a deal under contract. 7, listed on the MLS with a broker. Hopefully you've lined that up here in the first week or 2 in business. 8, sell the deal to a cash buyer or novate the sucker. I've talked about that on other podcasts. Feel free to go ahead and listen to that. And lastly, don't worry about automation. Don't worry about hiring or team building or getting all the fancy tools. Just make it happen. Lock it up under contract. Sell it for top dollar and take that 100K and take it to the bank.